Hi, it's Nags from That Christmas Autism Girl. Welcome back to my channel. Um, last video I promised y'all I would make a Phineas and Isabella video. So here's the Phineas and Isabella video. So I call it phinebella, one-sided crushes to lovers. So we're gonna talk about Phineas and Isabella, obviously kind of like similar to the Candace and Jeremy video. It will look a lot like that. So let's get started. So Isabella is introduced as having this crush on Phineas. She's a fireside girl, basically a Girl Scout, and she's very tough and independent, but she's also sweet and has a crush on Phineas, and so she's first introduced in the series as little hearts are in her eyes, which means that she likes him. And so then Phineas is one of the main two characters. He loves to build things and invent things, and he's very chill, and he likes to help other people, and he rarely gets angry. But he's also very oblivious to Candace's drive to bust him, and oblivious to Isabella's crush on him. So you kind of discover throughout the first episode that Phineas and Isabella are one-sided crush thing. So yeah, that's them. And then as the series develops, you kind of see more of her desperation to get him to notice her, and more of his obliviousness to her. For instance, she said, "There's also a New Year's episode." She says there's also the tradition of kissing someone special at midnight, and then he mentions that they're going to drop the. He says, "We notice what we're gonna do tonight," and she thinks he means the kiss. Then she mentions he wants to drop a ball from outer space, and she gets really disappointed. So you kind of see how he doesn't notice it. Obviously, everyone else around her does notice that she has a crush on him, like the Fireside Girls, Candace, the boys, Buford and Beljeet. Ferb notices. Vanessa even notices, and she's not in the series as much. So I think Phineas is a very oblivious character. So yeah. And so some of my favorite cute moments between them would be the hard eyes, which I mentioned. Their first kiss during the movie when she says to him, when she asks if they're going to remember anything, and so she takes that opportunity to kiss him, and he's surprised but delighted, and before he can say anything, her memories are erased. So that was kind of funny. They pay homage back. So the Star Wars episode isn't really canon, but it's also kind of sweet because like Phineas actually likes Isabella, pilot Isabella in this special, and she doesn't like him at first. Then she slowly warms up to him and eventually kisses him at the end, causing him to faint. So they're pretty cool. So one good scare is an interesting one because Isabella has a case of the hiccups, and Phineas spends the entire episode trying to get them out of her. And she says, "Oh, my day was wonderful. I had undivided attention by Phineas. It was wonderful." So yeah, that was pretty awesome. And then Operation Crumb Cake was a really funny episode because Phineas wrote a letter professing her feelings to him, and then she tries to stop it because she wanted what she said crumb cake. She calls it Operation Crumb Cake because she called him her little crumb cake. She gets freaked out that what if he rejects her or laughs at her. So I don't think that would happen. I don't know what would have happened had he read the letter, but he doesn't end up reading the letter. So yeah, and then they have a few in-depth moments together. So I'm going to talk about each one of these, rating from my least favorite to my favorite. So let's start with the beak. So the beak is about Phineas becomes a superhero named the Beak, unbeknownst to Isabella, and she tries to do a report on him, but then he has to go off and save somebody, and so then she starts to feel rejected and unseen by him, and she starts to doubt her feelings for him. throughout the episode until the end when she discovers he's the beacon which is trying to protect her. She immediately returns to her affections for him. But so the next one was the Chronicles of Meep, and Meep lives in Seattle. So this episode starts with Phineas and Ferb playing baseball, and they accidentally hit a baseball invention, to be precise. They actually hit down an alien spaceship and find this really cute alien named Meep, and he described it as the cutest thing ever. But then Isabella thinks, "What about me?" And so she asks, "Are you sure there's not someone or something that's more adorable?" And he says, "Not even close." Well, that she gets really upset, and throughout the episode, there's a cuteness interference. And so she assumes that he doesn't think it's from her because he doesn't find her cute. So then she brings up this later to him, and he says, "No, I took entire cuteness from the beginning." And he adjusted the settings, and then when he tried to turn it back to normal, it busted because she's so cute. He views her as immeasurably cute, I guess. So then the next episode, she's able to snap him out of a cuteness trance and go overwhelmed by alien's cuteness, the bad guys. And then he tells her, "Your cuteness goes right to your core." And then he says, and he calls it a scientific fact, even though she wants him just to say that he's cute, and says that that's close enough. So that's that episode. The next episode that goes in depth with them is Summer Belongs to You. Now, this episode I talked about, this is also the best Candace and Jeremy episode. Like I said in my Candace and Jeremy video, which you should watch. This episode is about a third Candace and Jeremy, a third Phineas and Isabella, and maybe there's just some side plots underneath it. It's basically half the two couples, and then there's some background plot about them trying to travel around the world. So I kind of forget about that part of it, honestly. So it's kind of fun seeing their plane crash so many times. But basically, the episode begins with her. I'll just fast forward through a few things in the episode. But basically, she starts the moments between them start with her asking him if he's asking her to Paris, the city of love, and he says it'll be fun, like not even really thinking about it. And then so she's like, "You're asking me to go to the city of love with you." And so then she's very excited about this. And when they actually get to Paris, she sings this song, City of Love, trying to get him. It's one of my favorite Phineas and Ferb songs. I think it plays at number. Hold on. I rated the Phineas and Ferb songs before. I can't remember where I ranked it, but anyway, basically, it's a really good song. So, yeah, she sings this song, and then as the song goes on, he pays less and less attention to her as more focused on fixing the plane. And so the hearts on the screen become broken as she goes, "I wish he would just notice me." And so when they get to this deserted island and they may be stranded, she goes, we were in Paris, the most romantic city in the world. He didn't even notice me." And so she starts crying. And then when Phineas has a breakdown, is like, "Oh, we're never going to get off this island." She realizes that's not, there was kind of, and then she wished a few seconds ago that he would watch the sunset with her, and he's about to do that. But then she realizes that it's not the Phineas she fell in love with. And so then she encourages him, almost admitting that what I said, that she's in love with him in the process. But then the encouragement gives him an idea to use the paper airplane to go back home, and they sing a song together. And that's basically how it ends. They dance and they sing a song together. So it's sweet. They don't really have a conclusion to their story because it's just not there yet. So next, number 2, we have Night of the Living Pharmacist. Is the second best episode about them. So Phineas has invented this thing to turn you into a rubber ball. Isabella's trying to earn a patch, the emotional bravery patch, by admitting her feelings for him. But then she ends up like he keeps getting distracted, and so when she's about to do it, she ends up getting distracted by this doof zombie outbreak, and they almost end up in a zombie apocalypse. And basically, Phineas panics when Isabella's not there, and then she later just kind of ignores him when he tries to apologize to her. But then, when there might be the end, she confesses that she likes him. And before he's really able to respond, he turns into a two zombie. So then that whole thing ends. And then when they return back, thanks to Isabella, they don't remember that last confession. So you're kind of like left kind of feeling kind of wanting more because like you feel like that could have been so impactful. Her admitting she liked him. But then I guess it wasn't meant to be because Phineas really didn't like her that way at that time. He just viewed her as a friend. As you can see in the final episode, the best Phineas and Isabella episode, Act Your Age. Also my personal favorite episode in the show because it's all about Phineas and Isabella. So Phineas is trying to decide where to go to college, and Isabella's already picked, and she's leaving in like 2 weeks. And so then he finds out she had a crush on him all along, and he thinks he's in the friend zone. But when they reveal she had a crush on him, he feels like his brain is broken and goes off for a walk. And then, encouraged by her grandmother, he ends up going back to the restaurant to go see her, but he misses her, and so we're given this beautiful song, my favorite Phineas and Ferb song, What Might Have Been, between them, that reminiscing about like her saying, if you just noticed, if you just given me a sign, maybe we could have been together, what might have been. And then he goes, if I had just noticed, we could have been together, what might have been. And so then they end the song with saying, we could have been together, but I guess you'll always be my friend. So it's really sad. And then Isabella decides to go back to say goodbye to Phineas, and he's right by her house, and so she ends up at his house, which they're neighbors, and so, which I forgot to mention. So then he goes, okay, so he says, so then he reveals they sit together, and then he said, I came by to say goodbye to you, and then he reveals what he discovered. She had a crush on him, and then he didn't notice, and she thought she was being obvious. So then he says that, so then they end up revealing he liked her in high school when she had given up on him. And so then they reveal they agree they had fortunate timing. But then he decides he's going to go to school with her. So he ends up choosing her college so that he can be with her. So we'll see her in 2 weeks. And then when Vanessa and Ferb are going off on the date, they take Phineas with them, and he goes and kisses Isabella, and she says it was worth the wait, and he agrees. So that's that episode. So I love Phineas and Isabella, not as much as Candace and Jeremy, but I love them. I mean, like, they're not like... My problem with them, though, compared to like Candace and Jeremy, is Candace and Jeremy gets a lot more screen time. You actually see them as a couple. Like, the uniqueness about this ship / couple is that you don't really see them actually as a couple for most of the show. Not till Act Your Age, and even then, you don't even see them as a couple. I guess if they had become a couple sooner, you have to go through breakups with them and the drama. But Candace and Jeremy never broke up, and they stayed together. And so I don't really understand why they had to wait so long. I guess because it would have been it's more of a slow burn ship. But I just can't say it's like my apps. It can't be in the top. It's in the top 15, but I can't rank it any higher than that because I don't actually see them as a couple. So for very long, and so I don't really know much about them. Like, I'm cheering for them to get together throughout the whole episode. There's a reason why Act Your Age is my favorite. But like, personally, it's not my favorite couple out there. And I don't think it ever will be. I mean, they're so cute and stuff, but there's not like a whole lot of depth to their relationship other than we like each other. So yeah, I think like that's why I like Star and Marco. They're best friends to lovers, but there's so much depth to their relationship. Zed and Addison, their relationship represents a lot of things. Fitzsimmons are so deep, they've been through so much. You know what my favorite couples are. So, but that's why I just don't think they'd ever be higher than number 15. Maybe one day I'll change my mind, but right now they're just number 15. So that's my opinion on Phineas and Isabella. I love them, but not one of my favorites. They're just fine. I like their story, but like as a couple, I don't know if they really work. Because like it took so long for them to get together and it was so painful. Kind of reminded me of Star and Marco. You had to wait like 4 seasons for them to actually get together. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe to all that fun stuff. Send me an email in the description below. I'll see you next time. Bye.